Hi, my name is Laura Díaz-Ufano and I am going to talk about an activity to work poetry in English classroom. Before starting, I present an index with the importance points to be covered and the order in which they will be addressed. The importance points are 1. Course that I have chosen to carry out this activity, 2. My main aims, 3. Explanation of the activity, and 4. Justification why this activity can help children learn. Getting into a topic, some children are having some negative experience with poetry in schools, and they aren't getting enough positive experience with poetry anywhere else. But how can we change it? Now I am going to give you an example. Before carrying out an activity, we must be clear about the course in which we are going to do it, because it is not the same to do an activity with children from the first course of primary education than with the sixth course of primary education. I have chosen the fourth of primary education because I am going to work on poetry through a content that children have seen in the subject of geography. The content is the journeys of man to space. Also, it is important to know at this age children understand instructions and information about closed topic and they are able to write simple sentences in English. Thus, the main aims that I consider are to understand information from oral messages, to develop simple sentences to get and exchange information, to identify words that have the same sound but are written and mean different things, to connect poetry with their own ideas, to create a simple poem in a guided way. Creating poetry with children is not an easy task, so in addition to create an activity, I have done a scaffolding process. The scaffolding process has 3 parts: motivation, children share different ideas about the topic; transcription, they make the poem with the help of the teacher; and discussion, children show their own creations. To start, the teacher tells the children that today they are going to talk about space, and he asks them what they know about it. For example, what do you know about the space? Are there planets, stars, aliens, or comets there? Then he says this situation. Imagine you are an astronaut and you visit the space. What things would you like to see? Among all the class groups share their ideas. From my point of view, this is a motivating activity for children since it makes them develop their imagination and exchange ideas orally. After, the teacher gives a seat to each child with the poem of the 5 little astronauts. He explains that it is a poem about astronauts going on a trip to space and that each of them says something about that place. Then the teacher reads the poem and the children repeat it. He asks what each astronaut thinks and if children have found words that sound similar. Once done them, the teacher makes the activity of the game of the goose, but adapted to the theme of the space. In this task, students are divided into groups of 5 people. The teacher shares out a sheet to each team and a board every 2 groups. The game consists of each team having to start in the blast-off square and advance their chip to the moon landing square by throwing the die. On the board, children can fall into 3 types of squares. Shortcuts squares. Children advance their chip following the instructions. Go back squares. Children go back their chips following the instructions. And finally, squares with couple of words. Children have to write the couple of words that appears in the square on the sheet. What the teacher expects with this activity is that the children collect several couples of words on the sheet. When finished, the teacher tells the children that with those words they are going to create a crazy poem. For this, he gives them a photocopy of the 5 little astronauts poem with blank space, and the students have to fill in the gaps with the words they found in the game of the goose. Then we have shared the new poem with the rest of the class through dramatization, drawing, reading. It is important to note that during the whole process, teacher uses images, movement, so that the children understand the task. In short, this task helps children learn both educational level and personal level. About educational level, through this activity, children learn to relate the concept they have seen in the subject of geography with poetry in the English classroom. Also, this helps them to get in the world of poetry, know some characteristics of its structure, and begin to create it. Moreover, it helps children to learn how songs combine to create words or sentences, and in a playful way, children access the written words and incorporate it both visual and auditory without being aware of it. Finally, it also improves oral expression in English language and it develops creativity. About personal level, this task contributes to the social development of children and it teaches them to respect order, know how to win and lose, and respect the rules. Also, it helps them learn to have patience, concentrate, and work cooperatively, and above all, to tolerate frustration and accept failure. Now I am going to put the page where I found the poem of My Little Astronaut and the Game of the Goose. Thank you!